Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Everton versus Chelsea, 12:30, Goodison Park at the weekend. Joined by Steve and Andy. As expected, a managerial change at Everton. Long
time coming.
We've done stuff over the last few weeks and said it just feels inevitable.
Yeah, it does.
Steve, you've been in a couple of times as well, and they've decided that was enough. The Merseyside derby, very Ronald Koeman-like, a 5-2 defeat resulting in the sack the next day, as it should probably. I guess it makes this preview a little bit more difficult though from our perspective, because at the time of recording this, we don't know whether it's going to be Duncan Ferguson in charge, whether it be David Unsworth, whether it's a new manager, David Moyes.
It's hard to guess who they pick as well, especially if it's Unsworth or Dunk, I know you spoke to Duncan here, but it's hard to know what type of football you want to play in terms of formation. So, we know that Unsworth likes to miss out the midfield, of course, but it's interesting. So it is hard to do. But with Chelsea, known quantity this season, they play well, so it should be an interesting game.
I mean, stay in some respects, because they've taken that decision, albeit the longest decision ever. Does that mean, do you think going into the ground now, the fan base will be reinvigorated? I'm not putting it all on Marco, as we know. I'm not, but what I mean is a change sometimes freshens things up. So do you think people will go to the game now with a renewed, come on, we can do this, we need to be with the team today?
Yeah, I think a lot of it will depend probably who's in charge as well. I think, even though I think there's a massive difference between a David Unsworth being in charge and a Duncan Ferguson being in charge. Obviously, we've had the Unsworth period before. It was obviously very up and down for him. It was a tough period for the club at the time as well. But I think, obviously, with the status that Dunk's got and how he's always had a really good relationship with the fans as well, and I do think it will change the atmosphere for Saturday if Dunk was in charge. I think the fans would be right behind him. I think it'd be good to see a fresh face on the touchline for the fans as well, and I feel like he'd be adding every ball with the team type of thing as well, because he's just that type of character. You see him when we score goals, he's up and about. I know obviously a lot of people are a bit mixed with Dunk as well.
Of course.
But I do think I think it'll definitely change the atmosphere. If a Silva was in charge, what would the atmosphere have been, especially after Wednesday night? If he'd picked the same old team, your Snyderlands, your Sigurdssons, everyone would be like, this again. And I just feel like it transforms to the players as well, and the players' confidence is pretty low at the moment anyway. So, but I do think if it's Dunk in charge, I think you'll see a massive difference with the crowd on Saturday. I do.
And obviously, like you just said there, we don't know who it is, but how do you think the crowd would react if it was David Moyes? Do you still think it'd be a
I think people, to be honest with you, I know people have, a lot on social media has been they don't want him back, but I think they back him. It'd only take a performance where Everton put a bit more commitment and effort in, which Moyes' teams were known for, then I think it'd turn around quite quickly. I think Everton's fans forget that, and a baseline expectation for Evertonians is commitment, work rate, and I think Moyes almost, I can't say guarantees it, but he will demand that of the players. And I think that goes so long with Evertonians. I think that a bit of discontent with this team, especially after last night, is the fact that there was not enough, there doesn't seem any heart or any desire in the team, and I think a manager who creates that, even if it was a Duncan Ferguson, I think the fans would get behind them quickly. I think even if it was a Ferguson or it was a Moyes, then I think even when in Marco, at times when he changed it up, for example, when he played 4-3-3 at one game, and people are like, oh, well, this is interesting. And you saw, when the team sheet's a bit alien, it's a bit of mystery added to it, I think the fans are open to things. But when it's the same old, and the manager's the same old. I think that's when the expectation comes that we're not going to do well. And I think the fans will be open-minded once the new manager comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as Chelsea are concerned, having a good season, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people felt they were vulnerable this season, and they still may be. Frank Lampard, they've made a good start to the season. He's scored 19 goals in their 7 away games, so just under 3 a game, isn't it? So very dangerous. Tammy Abraham, bang in form, scoring goals left, right and centre. So they can hurt us without a shadow of a doubt, can't they?
Yeah, I've watched a bit of Chelsea this season, just to more just to see how Lampard would do as a manager. Obviously, I watched him a bit with Derby last season as well. I've been really impressed with them. I've impressed with the way he's got them an identity of the football already, the way they're trying to play, and how he's promoting the youth players like Tamori, Mount, Abraham. A lot of people always said, Abraham would be just a championship player, and he's obviously, I think he's second top scorer with Vardy, I think. So, I think he's done a really, really good job there. Under circumstances, they haven't been able to buy any players as well. They lost the best player in Hazard last season as well. So I think you've got to give him a bit of credit for how he's got them playing and how he's stuck to his guns with promoting youth, I suppose, as he said he would.
Andy, been impressed with them?
Yeah, I have, but I think that and other analysts and other people who watch the game, I think what a lot of people underestimate is they focused on the fact that they're going to play young players, and that became the story. But when you look at the squad, most of that team won a championship under Antonio Conte. It's not that far removed. There's a lot of experience there, a lot of winning mentalities there. So I think there's a nice blend at Chelsea. And actually, they've basically got a free hit of the season where they can develop players and then buy out players. So, Chelsea probably could be good for a title in season or two's time. I don't know whether Lampard's going to be that manager. There's slight flaws in Lampard's game. You saw it in the championship with Derby last season. But they have got a good squad. I really do like Tamori. Mason Mount, good player. Tammy Abrams, big fan. I think a lot of people didn't think he was good enough for Everton when he was in the championship, which is a bit crazy. Now you laugh, but he's a goal scorer. You need goal scorers, and he scores goals. And
the good thing with Lampard as well, he's got the fans on side straight away.
Of course.
It always helps having a club legend like United had it through that little spell with Solskjaer at the start as well. But I've watched him in some of the bigger games, and even when they've got beat, the fans have clapped them off because they've seen what they've tried to do, which is a big thing in football, because you don't get time these days with a lot of fans, unfortunately. But they could see. I think they're watching them against Liverpool, and to be honest with you, they battered Liverpool at times, but they just couldn't get the ball in the net. But they come off, even though they got beat. The fans were singing at the end, singing his name, clap the players off, and I think that's always a good sign if you can get your fans on board as well.
Yeah, what he brings is that Chelsea spirit, I suppose. Doesn't he? He's a Chelsea legend, isn't he? He's had a fantastic time as a player there. The fans love him. He's gone in, like Andy's just said, it was almost a free hit, unable to purchase anyone transfer market. He's brought the kids, some kids through. Reece James is another one who gets on, another young lad, good player. So they've got some good players there, haven't they? And he's tried to give them a go as well. And, so much so that the likes of Abraham have kept Giroud out the team. And, last Saturday, they battered West Ham. And, West Ham had 4 shots and won 1-0. And it was just one of those days. But I still think that they were applauded off in that. So if you've got someone who the fans can get behind, you will be supported. And that's, I suppose, that shines the spotlight back on us, because it's been a while since we've had that. It's been a while since we've had an identification with a manager, really. I mean, Marco Silva, for whatever reason, it didn't happen. The club, in my opinion, didn't do enough to sell him to people. Ronald Koeman was aloof anyway. Fans didn't really like Sam Allardyce. So you'd have to go back to Roberto Martinez.
First season,
And the first season, the fans did get behind him. And before that was David
Moyes,
who we did most times, even if we'd lost, if we'd had a go, they still got clapped off. There'd be some frustration at times. But so I think if you've got that at a club, it helps, doesn't it? And Chelsea have certainly got that, scoring lots of goals, playing well. I mean, Mason Mount's goal in midweek was fantastic.
He's going to be a good player.
Pulisic has got in now. He's had 6, been involved in 6 of Chelsea's last
got more players on the way as well. Got Billy Gilmore, the lad they got from Rangers. He's a cracking attacking midfielder.
Even Willian's been playing a lot better recently as well.
Mark Waves at the centre-back. So they've smartly built their team from, and maybe these kids never would have got the chance if the ban happens, but they are, and it's sort of, Chelsea's fell into a really good situation in that sense. And I think, like you mentioned, Reece James, what a footballer. I think he's going to be Trent Alexander out for the England spot eventually. He's much better defender, much better physically.
Watched him against Palace, against Zaha the other week. He had him in his pocket.
He's a superb talent. He's playing midfield as well, to be fair. But
championship team.
But they, don't want to bring this back to Everton, but loaning players out to the right teams, developing them. sort of works. You know what I mean? That's a thing that Everton could learn from. A lot of teams could learn from Chelsea in that sense. But they're going to be a tough opposition. They've got they've got a number of goal scorers. They've got good experienced players as well who can get them through games. Obviously, Willian's played reasonably well this season. Pedro's still knocking around. So they've got some good players. Giroud can come off the bench and cause problems. It's going to be a tough game, but Goodson, you know, I think there'll be a bit of renewed hope. And I think if you pick the right side, if you put Richarlison in the right place, if you put maybe Keane or John Calvert-Lewin in the right positions with Bernard and Iwobi supplying them, I think, you know, the midfield is still an issue. But if you tailor it properly, you know, this is the problem. We were a bit naive against Liverpool. If you tailor the midfield and make them do minimal jobs, just basic jobs, and keep them sitting deep to protect the defence, we'll have chances. You know, Chelsea are not the most, you know, defensively. You know, they can see the goals this season. So
Yeah, definitely.
you know, we can pick up points in this game. Obviously, it's going to be tough, but
Everton have won 6 of the last 10 home games against Chelsea, which is better than what you think. More than we had in our previous 24. So on a decent little run.
I think they're definitely there for the taking at the back. I still don't think he's settled on a definite 2.
Rudiger's not been fit, has he?
Yeah, he's been swapping.
Zuma's done well.
He put Zuma in, Tomori, and then sometimes he'll bring Christian in. And,
I suppose he's looking for that perfect part.
I know he's put Aspilicueta back to left back now and put Reece James at right back last night.
I think now as well.
So
yeah,
I don't think he's settled on his back four.
They've got 2 players for every position, haven't they?
I'm not too set on the goalkeeper either.
Kovacic's probably going to be out, isn't he, with a broken hand, isn't he?
So,
He's come. That's one of Lampard's.
Doing well,
I think Lampard's brought him back when he was at Inter. He was one of the best midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
And I think when he was at Real Madrid he started playing within himself because he didn't want to lose his place in the team. He lost his confidence. I think Lampard's given that back, and he's been a really good fighter. And Pulisic, I didn't see it when he was at Dortmund. I think he was a good player. I thought he had some tricks and he could get to, you know, he can get inside the box. But his final ball and decision making wasn't quite there. Since he's come to Chelsea, he's been absolutely excellent. So
he's got in lately and been brilliant.
He was saying Lampard when he didn't have a break over pre-season.
No, he didn't.
And that's why Lampard left him out for a couple of weeks to give him a rest.
Him up.
Yeah,
he's been. I mean,
not that we could, but Richarlison probably could have done with that break, couldn't he?
We've had, after a run of 6 consecutive clean sheets at Goodison, we've actually only had 1 in the last 6 now. And it's the first time we'll play a Premier League game in December in the bottom 3 since 2003. We ended up drawing with Man City 0-0. So it's a tough game, but like you just said there, get the crowd engaged in the game, start from a solid base. Like we did last season. I mean, last season when we beat them at home, we weren't in great form.
No, we were awful
and they
first
come
half.
They come to Goodison. In the first 20 minutes, we were under the cosh a bit. Hazard hit the post and he was picking holes in us. But we grew into the game and the crowd got involved, and then we came out for the second half and blitzed them. And this isn't a team that's unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. They're a good side and they're playing well. But they're a team that gives you opportunities. You know, so... You know, I mean, we did okay against Leicester. I think the big difference will be, obviously, the team talk will be different because it's a different voice. I think the players have got to react after the hammering in the derby. I think the crowd might be more engaged. And therefore, with that comes renewed hope and a different way of playing. And if we can get involved in the game, we do have players that can hurt them. And hopefully the crowd will pull us through. And
it's no excuses now for the players. Well, the players have just had a manager sacked because of their performances, basically. I know obviously we've had our criticisms of the ex-manager, but it's down to them now.
I think there'll be different standards expected by the new manager, you know, whoever it may be. They're going to ask for different things. You know, I think Marco maybe wasn't ruthless, or you know, maybe at times a bit too nice. Maybe not. He wasn't behind the scenes. But it doesn't seem to be responsibility on the players' shoulders. He didn't take responsibility for performances. And I think if a new manager does come in, you know, whether it's Dunk, whether it's David Unsworth, whether it's David Moyes, whether it's mystery option number 4, whoever it may be, then there'll be different expectations, and I think that'll be good. And I think the crowd needs to get behind us. I know we've lost the crowd a little bit with, you know, the results of the season and falling to the bottom 3. I think it's a false position for now, but we'll, you know, hopefully, you know, we start a new chapter. You know, it's still the same project. It's not a new project. I know people don't like that word, but Marcel Brands is still steering the project. It just requires a new manager to freshen things up, and hopefully we'll get back on our feet.
I think we've definitely got better players than where we are by a mile, and even with limited central midfield options, if whoever it is in charge went with say Schneiderlin, Davies and Iwobi for argument's sake as a 3 and just said to Schneiderlin, protect. The others have the legs, and then we did use, say, Richarlison, Moyes, Keane and Bernard for argument's sake. We can cause them real problems, I think, you know, down the...
Just play on the counter, just let them overcommit and then we'll beat them on the counter.
It's not hard to get Goodison going from our point of view. All we ever ask for from players is hard work, fight, determination. Once you do that, if the players do that, the fans will get behind them.
Definitely.
No doubt about it. Against Norwich, we didn't do that.
No. And we're going into a spell of games now where there's 5 games that are all tough, but I think we can take points in most of them. So it's up to us now to... And, you know, if they do that, then by the time we go to Man City on New Year's Day, the league could look very different, and then we set ourselves up for a better second half of the season. But it has to start now. We just had 2 of the toughest away games in the division. We lost both of them. It's a chance to now to bounce back. 3 defeats on the run. It's all about...
Need to get something from the game.
All about reacting now and taking it forward.
So must not lose, basically.
Let's see what happens. Big thanks to Andy. Big thanks to Steve. Fingers crossed. Let us know your predictions for Saturday in the comments section below. Are you confident? You're going to get behind the boys? Can we beat Chelsea, as good a side as they are, and start to climb up that league table? Let us know in the comment section below. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you want more videos, join us over on Patreon. See you later.